Hi everybody, so this is the middle of day one still. I just wanted to show you what we achieved so far. We basically cleared the path. I know that sounds silly. We did what we called a little bit of maybe first step organizing, where we took bags of things that we had on the floor from different shopping trips, different unpacking and reorganizing, and we put them in like items in bags, lined them up in the hallway and on the kitchen table, and then we proceeded to work on the remainder of the couch. So the majority of what's on the couch, or what was on the couch, is fabric. I know that fabric can tend to be a lot when we DIY, especially if we do like to sew, especially if we do like to do any kind of crafts with fabrics, making pillow covers and any of those things. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the bulk of the fabric. We're going to work like a team. I have fabric that's in this laundry basket behind me that is basically just Dollar Tree stuff that I've bought over the years, scarves, bandanas, towels, and we're just going to organize it. What I decided to do was to have my assistant help me fold. Um, what we decided to do is to take the Dollar Tree containers that have the split lids that fold on top of each other, use them in conjunction with the Dollar Tree covered shoe boxes to basically organize the cut up and small pieces of fabric. And then we're going to use the Dollar Tree like oval like containers to organize the bigger pieces of fabric. Anything that's like new, a new scarf that hasn't been cut, or a new yardage of fabric that hasn't been cut will go in those oval baskets, and anything that's already been used will go in the shoe boxes. This way, when I have a future project, I will go into the scrap boxes first and see if there's anything that I can use. The other thing we're going to organize is some signage. Well, I had some signage tucked in the front of the laundry basket. I had like burner covers and like random plates that we use for DIYs from the Dollar Tree. Just little like random things. Plastic tablecloths that were red and white check, that come out around this time of the year actually. But this was back in April, so these were from last season. I like the rolling method when it comes to my stand-up storage. I don't know if you've seen lots of organizing videos that I've done before, but I used to store my washcloths with the rolled up method. I store all of my dish towels, not the dishcloths, but the dish towels with the rolled method. Jim said he learned it in the Army, so that's why we've implemented that. And we really realized that it does work really well. It's a great way to pack your suitcase too, as well, if you guys didn't know that. So for the fat quarters, the first thing I was doing when I do any of my organizing is I like to take everything that I have and assess it. Then I can figure out what size container will work. And then I can decide of how I need to fold it to fit inside that container, if that makes any sense to you. So what I did is I gathered up all the fat quarters. I got rid of anything that I didn't see a future in me using. And then I took whatever was left and I folded it in such a way that it would fit inside the clear containers with the folded lids. Then my assistant, he's such a great help. He was off folding things on the couch as well and basically organizing big pieces of fabric that were going to move into the shoe boxes. This was stuff that was all cut. There was also some fabric that was needed to go back in the dresser. So I mentioned it in yesterday's video that I have a dresser that I've painted with black chalk, like it's really a black flat spray paint that I can use like a chalkboard, that has all of my pieces of fabric in there. Basically, the bulk of it is really in there. And whenever I have a project, I'll go in there and I'll fish out what I could use. And then when I'm done, I don't always go put them back. Let's just I'll call a spade a spade. I don't always put them back. So what I do is every couple of months we have this purge, and that's when we go ahead and we put back whatever we aren't using right now. We get rid of whatever's too small to put back. It either goes in the scrap bucket if I think that it's big enough to use for like certain little projects, or I go ahead and I gift it to anybody. I have lots of friends who do quilting and stuff like that. So they do scrap quilting. They'll take pieces of fabric that you would normally think you wouldn't be able to use anywhere. Okay. So the Dollar Tree's black and white check, I just want to talk for a second about why won't that come back, Dollar Tree, if you're watching. It was such an amazing find, and I know that I snatched up every piece that I could. But if they do come back with that, I will tell you it is a really nice size check. It is smaller than a buffalo check, so it's smaller than the check on the scarves, but it's bigger than a gingham. It's sort of like a really large gingham. It falls somewhere between there, and I just think it's just the perfect size. So that's it. I just wanted to have this little PSA. Well, anyway, there's the little containers that we're going to use for the fat quarters. They're the clear with the split tops. Um, I'm trying to get all of them together. So Jimmy's just shoving them in there, as you can see, and then he'll hand it off to me, and I will go ahead and organize them within the container there. Now, we did try a variety of things like, will this work? Will that work? I know when I buy storage containers, I have ideas in mind of how to use them, but they don't always come to fruition the way that you imagine. Because sometimes when you're shopping or even when you're doing inventory, you say, okay, well, I have 6 pieces of fat quarters or 6 fat quarters from Walmart and Dollar Tree. Then when you get home, you either could have possibly have bought 2 more, used 3, gotten 5 from a gift. Like you just never really can like be 100% sure unless you're doing something like I know I need to store 27 soup cans because that's not going to change shape and size. Is what I'm saying. So these particular containers I actually purchased a while back. I had them. Some of them are actually in the QB boxes, like subcategorizing things in there. And then we had 4 left over, and I was like, 4 just works perfectly in this basket across from these shoe boxes. So we're just going and doing like a major purge, go through everything, get rid of whatever we feel like we're not going to use. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but that's pretty much what we're doing. It's just like getting rid of things that we're just not going to use anymore that can be a blessing onto others, not being overwhelmed by all the things that we have. But like I've said in yesterday's video, and if this is the first video that you're seeing in the series, we started this project yesterday. I did explain how we were hanging on to things because of for financial reasons for a lot of years that now it's okay that we can just let go of. We're hardly like independently wealthy or anything, but we don't need to be borderline hoarders. We can finally get rid of some stuff. I guess is really where I want to live. Like I mentioned yesterday, there are hoarders and there are minimalists, and most of us want to live somewhere between those 2 areas, those extremes. So that's what we're going to do. We found some really like random things. So when you guys do your craft storage, it's very easy to have a storage bin for your paint and a storage bin for your jute. But then you have like these random one-time things that you might purchase because they might be something you might be able to use. Like I just had a car mat, like the rubber from a car mat. And I was like, oh, when I first bought it, I was like, this would probably be really good in different ways. And then none of them came to fruition. So now I'm like, well, what do you do with the random car mat? So it's stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have come across how do you organize your randomness? That's really what I would really like to focus on. And I actually feel like that should be the name of this particular episode. How do you sort your randomness? But as I mentioned earlier, the rolling of the fabric is sort of a really good way if your fabric is going to be open, like it is. He's so silly. He just is. If your fabric is going to be open in a bucket container like this, rolling it makes it really good because it does make it also easier to pull out one piece and not take 37 of them. But I also mentioned that in those little boxes as well as in the dresser, I use the KonMari method to make it almost look like a file folder system. The one single fold is faced up. Everything, when you pull the drawer out, is lined up next to each other so that you can pull out whichever one piece of fabric you want to use without disturbing the others, and you can see everything that you have in one fell swoop. Now, I think part of the not being overwhelmed is to get a storage system in place. If you feel like the desire to buy new things, don't add new storage. Basically, get rid of something that you're going to put in its or going to put where you're going to put the new thing in its place. So basically, what I have going on here, and you'll probably see it tomorrow's video, is that we built this closet system in this craft room office space. We built shelves in there about a year ago, I think. And we set up a storage system at the time. And now that we've lived in it for a while and we've gotten new things and the Dollar Tree started carrying new things, we're going to go ahead and we're going to adjust that and we're going to finally label everything. Just to give you an idea of your storage can be an evolution. You can constantly improve your old situation. Okay? Now, that being said, I did mention try not to buy more storage because then it's where it can get really overwhelming. I will tell you, my space looks very overwhelming to a lot of people. A lot of times I hear in the comments, or I read in the comments, I should say, or hear from others that this is just too much going on for them. And that's okay. Not everybody can create in the same type of space. I have friends that have to create on a completely like empty room. I have friends and subscribers who can not move around, and then they just get like overwhelmed when they just can't move around. I'm not like that. I am a person who gets inspired by all the things that are around them. So I do like to keep the things near me. It also helps me from having to get up and down. One of the things that I'm going to share with you when I do live crafting is when I craft and I'm painting things, I often use my flexible cutting mats that we get from the Dollar Tree, and I often lay them on the garbage can next to me to dry. And then if I have to get up and go past the garbage can, I have to try to find some place to put that, or I can accidentally knock into it. There isn't a ton of space between the garbage can and the couch to begin with, but that's how I like it. Remember, I like to have things around me. It really does inspire me. So that being said, if you are the kind of person who just needs your space, then that's okay. Then this type of system and this type of craft room is not probably going to be for you, but you do what works for you. And just like this type of video is not for everybody, you'll find one that works for you as well.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I don't know when you'll be seeing this in the editing process. We shot a lot of footage last time, and I don't know if it's going to be like 1 or 27 videos. I have no idea. I don't want it to be 27 videos, but we did a lot. As much as there wasn't a lot to do, we did a lot. Because we did like the micro-organizing, so like my basket, which I'm in love with right now. We have 2 shoe boxes that have scraps. Then these little tiny folded lid. Can you see that? No, you can't. These like sort of things, they have like all the fat quarters from the Dollar Tree and Walmart. Then we have one that's got rolls of like farmhouse ribbon and bows that were made already. It's just, I love it. I've got 4 of those there. I've got 2 scraps here. Then what I did was I took these oval baskets from Dollar Tree and I put like, these are the boho rugs, and the only reason, and like random fabric things like the towels and stuff. The only thing that's in here that's not organized is these 4 or 5 towel blankets, because I have to do that project. I'm going to use them to recover an ottoman in the living room. And then this one is all like my fleece. These 2 big fleeces are from, there were remnants from Walmart, and the rest are from the Dollar Tree. So I'm loving the way it is now. It's so manageable. My box of garbage bags are in here, and then just like these plastic type shopping bags are in the front. It's so uber organized, and I love it. And I just knocked over the other things that are in here are the plastic tablecloths. Okay, hold on. I just undid it.
Anything else you help?
No, just have to fix that. I have to put it back right.
Okay.
So I'm loving that. We did like that kind of micro organizing. What we did as far as like the major organizing portion is we took liked items and we put them into shopping bags so that we can go and do some more micro organizing. So I'm just making up this term. This is not something that I heard micro organizing before. It's just the way I kind of explained it to Jim. We have like phase 1 is the mega organizing, which is just taking like the bulk stuff and organizing into sections. And then we're going to do stage 2, which is like the micro organizing like that. And then finally the stage 3 is like actually stage 2 is like the organizing. I used the word. It's like stage 2 is the purge. And then stage 3 is the micro organizing of putting all the stuff back that we kept. So that's what we're at today. Things look almost exactly like I photographed them the other day. I just have a couple of changes around the desk stuff that I was working on. And that I'm going to be working on. So I didn't put it away yet because I'm still working on it. But I probably need to, I don't know if I left it in the video the other day, but I pushed a candle holder off of the edge of the table and I found the 2 big pieces and there's like a triangular shaped piece there. And it's not by where he has to work, but once he gets it cleared off, then I can clear it out over there, then I can get under there and get that piece of broken glass. So some more micro organizing projects if you're interested is organizing all individual baskets up there, reorganizing the flowers, and then I can do a purge on the flowers. I have so much florals and I love florals. Like I don't have children, so I love florals. That's nonsense, but I'm not like I want to give them away, but I would love to be able to be a blessing onto others. So I'm going to go through everything, keep what I know that I can use and that I will use, or then I'll use what I'm going to use, and then I'm going to go ahead and bless someone else with whatever we have left over. So this hopefully is motivating you guys. If you could be a carrier, so obviously if you're going to gift something, tell a person, you know, wipe this down or leave it in your garage for I don't know, they can live on surfaces for up to 3 days, I heard last, but as of today, April 9th, 2020, they can live on surfaces up to 3 days. So if you gift this to a friend, just have them like lay it out in their garage, leave it in their garage or someplace untouched for those 3 days to let, if you have any germs, they'll be gone by then, or they can wipe them down. So I hope that I can be a blessing to someone else, and I hope that this motivates you guys to also, those of you who have an abundance in your stash, to also pass it on, to be a blessing to someone else in this time, because people are home and many are bored.